Yeah.
No, it says please stand by on the screen over here.
I might have just done a really bad Andy Summers impersonation. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there we go.
Cool.
Right on cue, according to that.
Played, man. Let me hit the mute button on this.
Yeah. So we are live here after doing some recording. We're doing our YouTube live, and
Joe Harvey.
Oh, Joe's back.
Joe's back. Brian Landreth.
Look at that guy. Well, we're a little early, Brian, because we might have some friends from the Great White North joining us, and they wrapped up their...
Yeah, thanks to Brian.
Right.
And Ben Combs for doing a little shout out over there. So, Gary Thorlander, I think I saw a subscriber thing, so thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah.
How's it going? Cool. I forgot the WD-40 this week.
Yeah, you did. Squeaky.
Squeaky.
Squeaky, squeaky.
So, look at this, man. This is more people, I think, than we've ever had in a live stream.
Especially early. Yeah, Joey is back. Welcome back, Joe.
Joey says,
hey, Joe.
Joe said play the metal.
No, yeah. I right now, because we're going to talk about what we did tonight, this is what you get from me. You get Andy Summers tonight. Playing a Telecaster with a chorus through a clean amp, so I'm gonna have to. I don't know. Maybe by the time it's over, I'll walk over and hit the overdrive channel of the PV and give you a little drop D and get you some really bad metal.
Right. So what we're for those of you that are new to a live stream by us, which is like everybody but Joe and Brian. The deal typically is talk a little bit about what we did.
Yep.
This is like our recording night. So this is the night whenever we do live streams this night, we get together and record something. Maybe talk a little bit about what we did. Love to discuss some stuff with you guys. But before we do any of that, I wanted to break open a case.
Okay.
So sitting next to me over here, I have
Gary said he just discovered the channel a couple days ago.
Little case.
Yes.
Epiphone. I don't know if you guys do this when you get too many guitars. You start doing the painter's tape on the back with the label so you remember which case goes with which guitar. It says 14 Epiphone 339. And we have the repair tag right here. So restrung, set up, standard. No, I didn't take it to the shop to get restrung.
I do, because I'm lazy.
Pat PJ would do that. I don't do that. But we did take it in, and so we took it in the Woodshed Guitar Works. I took it in the Woodshed Guitar Works. Had Chris Delaporte set it up. This was a reverb find. It was a used guitar. Came with the case. That's a nice case.
Yeah.
Came with the case. Had it around for a little bit. The action was really high, and now it's not. So if you haven't seen the Epi 339s, they have split push-pull pots on both humbuckers. I did modify this a little bit. I pulled all the electronics out, widened the holes, put USA electronics in it, kept the original pickups. Smaller shape, body shape than a 335. This is a great guitar.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you want to get into a hollow body and don't want to spend a lot of money and don't want one of the big honking ones.
We did an episode that we call You Should Try This, because part of the genesis of this channel was we play together, but we never play outside of the context of we play at church on Sundays, and we have pedal boards, and we have guitars, and when Jason approached me about starting this YouTube channel, we're like, because we're always like, hey, you should try this, or look at this pedal, and so we created an episode called You Should Try This. That was one of the ones we did before. I want to go back to...
Ben Combs in the house.
Hey, Ben. Thanks for...
Hey, Ben. Yeah, thanks for the shout-out.
Somebody, if you back up a little bit, said, yeah. Craig, yes, Prince definitely played with chorus. It's very Purple Rain-ish sounding, you know.
Craig's a new name, too.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ben, man. You brought a whole... Ben and Brian brought a bunch of people here that we've never met before, which I love. That's awesome.
What is he asking you?
You did or did your wife?
Or did she take the guitar for you? Did she drop off the guitar? Is that what she's talking about?
I don't know.
Anyway.
I don't remember. Did you drop off? All right, so that takes us... Since my wife has chimed in...
Yes. Oof.
So, my lovely wife had surgery last Tuesday, so tomorrow will be 7 days on her jaw. And this is like crazy serious stuff. Broke bones, moved bones, rewired bones. You know, she's such a trooper. I'm in awe of this woman and how she's handled this. So I said to her, you know, we're recorded night. Last week we recorded one night. We did the
tube modeler.
The tube modeler. Plugged straight in the computer, no noise. I said, are you all right with some noise tonight? She said she was. So,
whoopsie.
We tried out the Fox Gear Rats pedal, which is a rat clone. And she sent me a text message when we were done that said, holy cow.
Yes, holy cow patty.
Holy cow. And then it said it was rattling the bed. So, honey, I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
He was trying to rock you to sleep because he was down here. But I think our new friends that are joining us tonight will agree that things sound better loud.
Oh, she was talking about the F-holes. So, yes.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
When we put in the electronics, I couldn't get my big fingers in there. My wife was in there pushing stuff around. God love her. I mean, to ask for a better woman in your life.
Yes, lots of love to Mrs. Beard, who was on there. Hopefully she sees all those well wishes. Yeah, it's very exciting. I mean, I want to thank Brian Landreth and Ben Combs for bringing some more people to the party, because this is part of what we wanted to do. We wanted to start a discussion with people who have thoughts about gear, want to talk about gear. We started the channel because our wives collectively were like, I don't care about gear. I'm trying to have a smile on my face, but I don't care what you're talking about. Love you, but your passions are not the same as mine.
Pretty much.
So we decided we're going to hang out, play gear, start conversations. So we're really looking forward to tonight, and we're going to just do our best to just be ourselves, be who we are with some new friends.
Yeah.
So
I love all the positive vibes from Ben and everybody else, my wife. Yeah, I mean, that was...
If he went upstairs and got the papers of, like, the 4D, 3D drawings, you'd just be like, what in the world?
Yeah. It was like open up airway. It was to change, like, fix so teeth hit right so you don't have bone loss in the jaw. But, I mean, I've seen people have serious surgeries before, but I was not prepared.
Let's just say with all this procedure, she might be part of Skynet now. She might be in the Terminator series.
It's crazy. But she's doing great. Loud is more good. Yes, Brian. Loud is more good. Yeah. So Brian, you said rat. Yeah, it's a rat. Mm-hmm. It's a rat pedal. And it's been, oh my gosh, 10 or 15 years since I plugged into a rat pedal, but this was cool.
And this isn't a cheap ploy for you to watch the episode, but seriously, we're trying to keep it quiet. A, for the YouTube live because we run it differently, and two, we've already shaken the bed 2 floors up once tonight, so. Thought maybe the rats wasn't the best thing to put back on the pedal board to even noodle around later. So, Again, not a cheap plug, but that'll be coming out sometime soon. And so those of you who are subscribed. Yes, this telly is Jason's telly. I'm so lazy I'm going to bring my own guitars over. So
You haven't brought a guitar.
I haven't brought a guitar over in weeks. Yeah, what is this telly? This is a...
It's a 1952 Hot Rod reissue.
Got a Seymour Duncan.
I don't know what year it is because it doesn't. I think you have to take the neck off to find out the year, and
probably not happening.
Yeah, I'm just not going to do it.
You think your wife could take the neck off this guitar?
She probably could.
Yeah, so it sounds great too. Again, it's chorus laden because we did the Red Witch Empress chorus tonight, but or kind of what it's designed for.
Flipside Music, who that's if I'm getting this correct, that's Ben Combs' preferred U.S. musical retailer.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool to see them. Brian said that he watched the video I sent him on. I sent him a video last night. If you haven't seen this, Andy from Reverb, I guess Reverb now, put out a video on how to get Neil Young's tone. I was talking to you about it because I thought you hit that. I sent that to him,
no less.
and he does. He kills Neil Young's tone, and he uses the pedal's a deluxe It's like an overdrive pedal modeled after a deluxe amp, which I've never really paid it. I know Love Pedal sells a couple of those. Right. I asked Lawrence Petros last night at Ben Combs' live show if he has one. He said he has one coming out. I've never really was like, I don't. It just an overdrive pedal modeled after a deluxe. I didn't think it would be a sound that it just didn't register as that's the sound I want. Then I saw Andy play it, and I'm like, no. That's totally a sound I want. Hey, that's totally the sound I want. So that's cool.
Yes, the beard does have some killer guitars for sure, and there were plenty hanging back behind us on the wall. Quite a breadth of a collection. He's like, they're not like vintage, they're not historical, but there's a breadth of guitars here, and they're all in, most of them in very good playing shape. Pull one off the wall, pull one off the rack over there, and play.
I mean, they're working guitars. They're not, right, they're not high-end, necessarily.
Yeah.
You can get some good used deals out there.
Right.
That was used.
I'm using it right now.
Has this big...
I saw that. I didn't know if it was relic on purpose. I'm like, please tell me I didn't do that.
Dude, what'd you do?
I had my hand on here earlier, and I was like, uh-oh. Go stick it back on the rack before he looks. What is that store? Any stories about the church playing? We haven't gone drop D in metal yet for you, Joey, but maybe.
Drop D metal.
Yeah, our good friend Chris Delaporte. What?
I have a story.
Do you?
All right, and so Joe, here's the story. Here's the question. Question of the night.
Okay.
Right, because that comes out of. So if you haven't looked at, like, if you're not into the church. Scene.
Yeah.
First of all, you want to see some crazy pedal boards. Get on and look at what the worship players are using for pedal boards. Like, they cost more than your guitar and amp put together, typically.
True story.
Crazy pedal boards. But somebody put on one of the message boards the other day, they asked, what's the weirdest, like, strangest guitar, most non-praise and worship guitar you've ever played at church? And they had a picture of a 7-string flying V with EMG pickups on it.
Right.
First comment on the thread, the guy put up a picture of a Les Paul. And I thought, like, wow, man, you're really brave. You know, you play a Les Paul. So I guess that's the question for the night. Is like, are guitars genre specific? Right? Like, if you're playing a Tele, do you have to play country? If you're playing a Les Paul, do you have to play rock? If you're playing a Jackson, do you have to play
metal-ish?
What do you think? Guitars genre specific or not?
See, look. I don't know if your wife is still listening, but Brian, this Strat has the most awesome color. This is another one of his guitars. It's a Fender American Deluxe 98. There's some nice grain poking through there. I gravitate towards this guitar. Even like they're almost a little bit reminiscent. Yeah, and they're almost reminiscent of like PRS Moons or kind of sort of, but they're really nice. It's a nice guitar.
My wife hates that
I tend
guitar.
to pick it up a lot.
She would be happy if I put it in a case and stuck it under the house.
Yeah.
You
stick it at my house. It's fine.
A Driven Deluxe is a glorious tone, yeah. Yeah, flip side, I don't know why I never thought about that. So this before they start commenting on this like guitar specific genres, I gotta throw out, since it's BB King's birthday.
Yes.
I would be willing to bet that whatever guitar you put in BB King's hand, whether you put a Strat, a 335, his wasn't really a 335, was that a 3? Because it had the baritone on it.
Yeah, it was Lucille.
Yeah, there's a number for it, but
if Brody chimes in, he has one. He can tell me all about it.
Right. A PRS, whatever you put in his hands, whatever amp you plugged him into, I would be willing to bet it would sound like BB King playing the blues.
Yeah.
Hands down.
So Gary here just mentioned that he has a Tele with a Duncan hot reel and it's great for metal. So when Jason texted me earlier today, the first guitar that came to mind was a Tele, right? So do you think of Danny Gatton and Roy Buchanan and all these other people. And
Albert
then you go
Collins
all the way over to John 5 that can do metal on a telly. And then he'll, if you want to have a fun watch, go.
Prince.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to call it a watch. I think it's made up a word. If you go look at Sweetwater, the guy from Sweetwater interviewed John 5 like at his house, sitting on his couch, and he had a guitar in his hand. You know us guitarists, because we watch Ben's live stream. We can't have a guitar in our hand and not touch it. So as they're talking, he is like chicken picking and doing all this crazy stuff, and then he's talking and he's sweeping. So John 5 is living proof that no, they're not genre specific, and within his own playing, he covers from like country to metal to jazz. And then you got, Springsteen, and you got Prince was mentioned earlier, and so really,
flip side, BB used to play Telly way back. Is that because that's what there was, right? Like that was it, right?
Right. Yeah, Jimmy Page did pretty good with the telly, and I saw his telly at the Metropolitan Museum of Art the exhibit they had there. Yeah, he played a telly for sure.
Jim Reed from Slipknot.
Yep.
Yeah, you start listening to people that play tellies, and it's like it's every.
I would talk my personal friend of mine, same thing. Like you play.
Well, what was the video I sent you today? So here, if you haven't seen this, like this is the one that kind of got me thinking about it too. And I'm sorry, I gotta look it up. So, right. So I sent Pat. It is. Well, didn't I send you a video? Yeah. Here it is. Paul Gilbert.
Yeah.
Paul Gilbert, and it's a jam, like it says Blues for Rabbit. First of all, the drummer on this is intense. Like, there was a joke in some of the blues bands that I used to play around the area. They would have drummers sit in, and they would say, I asked for a shuffle, and I got a scuffle. This drummer is, this guy is shuffling, man. This guy is awesome. But Paul Gilbert's playing blues, and he's doing it on, like, this Ibanez.
Yeah, his own... probably signature model.
Right, but it's crazy looking. You know, It looks like a metal guitar more than it does a blues guitar. So I don't even know what he really does, what style of music he typically does.
It's rock. It's a little metal. Not really metal, but he's a shredder. But he does some pop stuff. He'll play like Beatles tunes and other things. But he's fantastic. I mean, he taught at GIT and was kind of Mr. Big was the weirdest band ever with Billy Sheehan and he in there. And then they do ballads but you got two of the most prolific musicians in like a pop band, sort of, kind of. So yeah, Paul Gilbert is unbelievable.
We miss anything here?
Oh, kind of catching up.
Yeah,
we're used to talking to ourselves, so thanks.
Yeah, we're used to not having to read the comments, so we might not be very good at it.
It's more like a monologue than a dialogue. But I don't know why we're sitting here, and I changed guitars. But one of the things we did, I mentioned. Red Witch Chorus. So our tagline, for those of you just joining us, is no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear, right? But I went back into sort of the back room where some of my stuff is stored, and I was thinking, what pedals do I have that I might flip? I'm not big on selling stuff. I'm kind of an accidental collector because I don't like to sell stuff because either I get attached to it or don't think I'm going to get much for it, and I'm like, I'll just keep it. So I came up with a fake Pelican case full of pedals, and so tonight we started a new segment going, do I need this kind of segment? So one of the pedals I had back in there is a Red Witch Empress Chorus, company from New Zealand.
And it sounds fantastic.
It does, and I made the mistake of plugging it in, but that's what I was playing earlier. It's So that's one thing. That's one thing we worked on filming tonight, really quick. So
there's a new guy, Dana, or is it Dano? Probably.
Yeah.
Dano.
F and
welcome.
So whatever. Is that New Jersey, perhaps? So I like the fact that you guys all know each other and you're coming to Jason's house.
Coming to hang out for a little bit.
If we didn't know you were coming, we'd have made some snacks. Mistakes. Yeah, Brian, mistakes do prevent copyright strikes. We're struggling through that on one of the songs. Jason was trying to remember a hook, and I'm like, if you play bad enough, they'll never hit you. Right. So just keep doing that.
Right. Kept messing it up.
And it started the proverbial Vanilla Ice Baby with Under Pressure, which which came first.
I was telling you about when Vanilla Ice's tune first came out. I was in a record store. Remember those? Like the places you could go. They had like CDs and records and tapes. And I'm standing there, and Vanilla Ice or Pressure by Queen comes on. The song starts, and these kids are all into it, right? And then it starts doing the Pressure thing. He starts singing, and the one kid's like, "Who stole Vanilla Ice's tune? That's messed up."
It's Rob Van Winkle, man.
They're all mad. Yeah.
Seasonal allergies here in Pennsylvania. You're welcome. Probably can't catch anything from watching the show.
So, yeah, man. What else?
Yeah, man. One big guitar family. That's true, Gary. This is what we really wanted. And so, again, I don't want to go on and on about it, but thank you to Brian Landreth being one of the first regular viewers and commenters on the show. And then, I think Jason found out about Ben Combs maybe through Brian Landreth and started listening and chiming in and watching things. And, last week Ben jumped in on the conversation, and then today, invited everyone to come over. And so, welcome. Here you are. And
we don't really talk about subscribers a whole lot. We mention, I think we do the typical subscribe at the end. But, I mean, I don't think we dwell on that as much because we are just doing it kind of for fun.
Right.
But it was interesting to see just jumping in, Ben, last night, and you giving the little shout out. And then tonight, I think, it was like 9?
Yeah, 5 or yeah.
It was like 9.
Yeah, in 24 hours.
Yeah.
So I hope we're not disappointing you.
Right. Just, don't unsnap. That is cool. That's really cool. I feel like there's something I'm forgetting that I wanted to... Third base was first.
So, I don't know. This is a question I'm asking without permission of the producer over here. But what is... we talked a little about guitars. What is... Those of you on this conversation, what is your number one? What do you play?
What did we miss?
Dan of New Jersey? Is that... Oh, Dan of New Jersey. It's all one word. So Brian Landis was like, Dan of New Jersey, and Dan of New Jersey is like, thanks, Brian. And then your wife
is like, yeah.
Oh,
all those nice things I was saying earlier.
Yeah. It's the medicine. It's the medication.
It's the medication. Yeah. Yes, it's the...
You shook the bed from 2 floors down when she's sick. I think we collectively have it coming to us. So, hey, what is your number one? As we're typing through here, you're looking through these comments. What is your number one? Because we started talking about our guitars genre specific, and I think we've already discussed that very briefly, but no. But then we started talking about versatility of guitars, and we're both big, huge PRS fans. And I think Paul Reed Smith's initial thought was, let me take the most of Beth worlds. Let me take a Les Paul and a Strat and put it together. So we kind of talked about if you had one guitar to take to a gig and need to cover a lot of territory, you could take a PRS. And I'm not talking about a 513 that has all the pickup configurations. Even just a custom 24, or something that has. I have some older ones that have the rotary switch, 5-way rotary switch.
Right. Well, like this
you have push pull. You have push pull and toggles.
We have a push pull, so we can split.
Yeah. So my
But I mean,
there's a lot of nice guitars. I mean, I'm not playing one right now, but my number one would be PRS single cut hollow body that I have that actually has Starlet pickups in it that you could split. Super light hollow body. It's great. I love it. I've got all these guitars. I gravitate towards that one. So
the hollow bodies are like a PRS hollow body is a true hollow body. Like if you've never picked up a PRS hollow body before, next time you're in the store and there's one there, just pick it up. You'll be startled. Like you'll go. Yeah. And it just
speaking of Prince, remember when he threw the guitar up and it never came back? If you go to put your guitar on and adjust your strap, you're like, wait, where'd my guitar go?
Yeah, there's so much.
Excuse me so much. Brian Landis, Lake Placid Blue Strat with Lollers. Yeah, right.
Lawler pickups. So a couple things tonight that goes back to the Ray Santana thing, right? So Ray Santana was big on, and there's this little clip that we haven't put out from him yet that I don't know, but he was big on any instrument, any genre. So he didn't even say like a PRS is good for this genre. He's like, you can use a ukulele, you can use a band.
He brought a mandolin to a blues jam, right?
Yeah, he takes a mandolin to a blues jam.
We don't play no country music here. And again, he goes, neither does this.
Right. So
one of the greatest lines ever.
But then he has like Lawler pickups and everything down there. And then he had that hollow body PRS.
He killed me.
With the Charlie Christian Leller pickup.
One of the other episodes we did was my good friend Brody Hutchins in Nashville, who's got a big collection. He doesn't modify anything. He's like, I want it the way the creator intended it. And he didn't mean God. He meant the creator. And so I've been kind of following that. And again, big fanboy of PRS. And I'm like, I don't want to alter any PRSs. And then we go over to Jason's friend Ray Santana's, and he's got one with Charlie Lawler, Charlie Christians in it. Killed me. Absolutely killed me. I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, you can change it up and make it different, better. I don't know what word I want to use. Because I was always the guy that said, take the $300 guitar and upgrade the pickups and make it a better guitar. He took a $3,000 guitar and threw new pickups in it, and dare I say, in that particular case, made it a better guitar. My mind was blown. You know, it's like if you had a belief system and all of a sudden it shattered. That pretty much happened to me.
Yeah,
from the nicest guy on the planet.
Right.
Wrecked my world. So anyway. Kramer. Yep. We got a Kramer Pacer Classic. 71 Telly on stage. Nice Ben.
And then up a little bit.
G400 SG.
Flip sides, it did 3. I don't know. You could get. It's kind of like cheating. That's your number 1. I have 3. Come on. But Fender Time. I mean, that makes sense.
All right, we'll change the question. It says, "What is your What is one of your holy? What is your holy trinity?" Okay, right. So it's really 3 in 1.
Well,
so.
we heard Brent. Like we were catching parts of Ben's show, and Ben was talking about like Strat. I got it. Strat, Telly, and Les Paul. Like the basic 3, right?
Yeah.
Everyone needs at least one Gretsch. Yeah, I have one.
You
paid $125 for it. It's gold sparkly.
Well, when you get up to go change the battery in the light, once you grab the sparkly one.
I think he's seen it. It's been...
the rest of them haven't. The cloud of witnesses we have here tonight. Yeah, I don't have anything with the Bigsby. I've got a Duesenberg Carl Carlton that has a really nice trem on it that's not a Bigsby. So Bigsby is in my future. I again, might find one that's maybe on a Starla or a Mira PRS or a Vela. Yep. Ben, last band took 3 guitars to every gig. My aforementioned friend Brody, we would take 4 or 5 guitars to gigs because we're dumb.
I took 3.
Yeah, it's almost that whole overused phrase, why do you do it? Well, the same reason a dog licks itself. Because you can. Like, I could take 5 guitars out if I want. I was much younger then. But now that
I would take two standard tunes. One standard, one backup, and then I would take like either an open E or I would take an open G. This was the open G slide blues band guitar. Look at that. Come on. If you walked into Flipside Music and they had this hanging on the wall for $125.
And you'd seen it for 5 or 6, 7 months straight, and you knew it needed a home.
Well, I only went in there like once or twice at this place, once or twice a year. It was in there for years. They knocked it down to $125. Would you?
I would.
$125 hanging Flipside Music. Would you take it home with you? Look at that. Come on.
I've seen bowling balls.
My wife hates this guitar. She hates this one a little less.
Right. Which one does she really like?
The red.
Okay, it is nice. That guitar.
Red's her favorite color.
When I sit across stage from you and the stage lights hit that thing just right, man, it pops. But yeah, sometimes I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes depending on the lighting, it might look a little pedestrian, not too pedestrian, but man, that light catches that thing just right. You feel like a tiger just walked on the stage.
You know,
Goldie.
that's not a
Goldie.
That's not a 10 top.
Right.
It's just but it is.
It's very nice.
That one's well played.
Now, Brian Landis has offered you $130. Is that shipped?
Yeah. $300 shipping in the jurors.
Yeah, definitely you stole it for $125. You know, that should be a segment we do, like steals or finds. A friend of mine just bought a guitar at a yard sale, so he wants to bring it to us, and we'll have a yard sale finds segment.
Yeah.
It's great to find a deal, right? That Jason was talking about reverb on the thing we recorded tonight. You put things in your watch list, and
if you're willing to wait.
Yeah.
And then, it's weird because 2 guitars down here, the Telly was bought from a music go round.
Okay.
And it came and it was set up. It's beautiful, right?
Sorry, go ahead. Good.
Yeah.
I'll come back.
And then the same music go round had the Supro.
Yeah.
And I messaged them and was like, somebody else has it cheaper, but I've bought a guitar from you guys. I trust you. And they matched that price. So reverb does work. What were we gonna?
I was pointing that Brody, my friend Brody, who I keep talking about, was bandmates for years, really close friends. He finally got a YouTube account, and just so he could follow us officially and not stalk us from afar. So I guess we got to say nice things to Brody.
Where is he here?
Yeah, he's right.
Oh, look.
I'm finally on, yeah.
Brody.
Yeah.
So there's a couple field trip videos that are already out. We look at his historic collector's editions.
Collector's choice, yeah.
Collector's choice. We look at his electric guitars. We look at his acoustic guitars. And I know someday soon the amp video is coming out too, where we get to see his amp. And if you like PV classic 30s and stuff, there's other amps in there too. But if you like them, I know he has a lot of those. So that video is cool. My wife said that Goldie only comes out. It does. I take it to church on the week before Christmas.
Nice.
I don't know why.
It's sparkly. I mean, it's like, whatever.
Jason would hang like little lights off the headstock of his bass, and I would play Goldie.
Got a Wolfgang. Nice, Ben.
Today, it's a Samuel Warlock 1989 Ash. Plays blues well. Yeah, man.
Well, at one point,
that's
Samick was making almost every guitar in the world.
Yeah. I don't buy it.
Well, Brody, at least you could keep the same password for all your million accounts, because we all remember those, right? So, yeah, Brody likes to fly under the radar too, But yeah, so yeah, what else were we gonna? We talked about guitar specific. We do. Talked about our guitar specific to a genre. The answer to that was a big fat no.
So there was another pedal that made it on the night that was kind of unusual.
Oh yeah, it's hidden behind the computer at the moment. But
so we're playing the Rats pedal. I don't know. So when we go live, we have to turn off the amp. Well, actually, we don't turn them off, but the Focusrite that we're using, the interface we use, for some reason only picks up channel 1 and 2. So when we go live, it only picks up the 2 vocal mics that we have over here. So any guitars that you hear are coming through vocal mic, like room mics, so they never. I don't think they sound bad when we watch it back, but they don't sound maybe as good as they could. But this pedal, name that effect. Can we turn it on?
Can I spot you the manufacturer, maybe?
So, love pedal.
Yep.
One knob wonder.
Pickle vibe.
Yeah, man. Guitar hack in the house.
There we go. There's Brody. I told him what a Lucille was. It's a 335 without the F-holes. Because he has a Lucille. We were talking about that earlier.
But it's not a 335, is it?
355, sorry.
355, okay.
Without the F-holes. They're there. It's sort of like the one Chet Atkins guitar. It's like it's fake. Yeah, Robin Trower. That's true.
We need to get like Ben Combs or Guitar Hack. Guitar Hack does a lot of live stuff too. I don't know if you've seen his stuff live.
I have not yet.
I've checked out some of his stuff. Does a lot of videos. Thanks for stopping by. But one of these guys to tell us how to watch these. I guess because we're not just sitting in front of the computer too. Like we have it so far away from us, I can't read it.
Do you feel like your grandparents when they first got a laptop with a webcam? Everything was like that. Everything for us was like. We need like an intern to read the comments.
Yeah, well, so yeah, that's the Love Pedal Pickle vibe. It's cool, man. That's nice.
It's like Barry White plays the blues. Oh yeah.
So what's going on here? Does that say?
What's that?
I'm looking over there.
That one's dead. I'm not even looking.
It says 19. I think it says like 19 people watching right now. 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 19 people watch which is huge.
That's right.
That's huge for us. It's huge.
It's about.
This is the
It's
big,
about 15
big,
more than usual.
Yes. It's huge. Never had this many people in a chat room. That's awesome, guys.
Again, we would have made more snacks if we didn't know you were coming.
You guys are hardcore, too. I mean, you hanging out with Ben Combs for an hour and then coming over here and hanging out with us for a little bit. That's awesome. I mean, that's
How many of you told your wife, hey, I'm downstairs working on the taxes?
nice.
Yeah, it's great to see people who are connected, people who are connecting. Yeah, so I had him pull out that pickle vibe because, you know, this Rats, which again, we're not playing because of the volume, but we'll have an episode, like just got really fat and meaty. And I'm always a sucker for some level of warble, whether it be a vibe or a tremolo or whatever. And I forget what pedal I suggested first, and you pulled that out, and I'm like, that's exactly what the doctor ordered. But these Fox Gear pedals are super cool if you haven't seen them. They're really sleek. They're Italian, and I like to say, you know, they brought us the Ferrari and the Fox Gear curved box with the illuminated, the whole back of it, top of it illuminates backlights, and a sucker for lights. So that was a nice pedal. Like it was probably the first distortion pedal that we looked at. I'm single all the time. All right, Ben.
Yeah, somebody said pop out. We did. I popped out the chat, and I keep hitting like the control plus to make it the words as big as I possibly can. But
Ooh,
then you
that's
don't
almost
get
billboard size.
right. Well, then you don't get to see all. Then it doesn't work quite right. So I don't know what to do. We'll figure something out someday.
Yeah. So I asked you what your number one guitar was. What is your? We did one of our very first episode. You get a last minute call for a gig. What guitar and two pedals are you taking? We've sort of gone down the path, but what? Assuming you're a pedal guy, what two pedals are you taking?
Oh, yeah.
Assuming there's some type of back line, but you don't know what it is.
You got two.
You get two pedals, not three. So we asked for one guitar, so I'm going to get two pedals. Two. What would they be?
That's
and
a
we
good
won't even
question.
tell you what ours were. We had the exact type.
Mm-hmm.
Without talking, we had the exact type, different brands, but the idea.
And I've seen multiple rig rundowns now. When they get to somebody with a small rig, they have two pedals, same type that we picked.
Right. Brian Landis was saying try and readers, yeah.
Try readers. I could just put my glasses on, Brian. I mean, I do have glasses, but that would be... I wear them to read the iPad on Sunday morning.
Makes you look really studious.
Right.
That's right. Brody, you did recently acquire a few pedals of the Love Pedal Drive. Okay. All right. Brian Landis is on to something. He was apologizing for using PV amps, not using pedals, and not modifying guitars.
What happened? Oh, he took it away. Why'd you take it away, Brody? That was good.
Message retracted. There was a typo. It's okay, bro. You don't have to be perfect, because look how perfect we are. Yeah, Brian Landis, I think you're onto something. That's kind of where we landed.
DNM drive and the carbon copy. Actually, the carbon...
It wasn't the one I brought.
But that was just because you're too lazy to get it off your pedal board.
Yeah, probably. Well, you said I couldn't run out to the church and grab anything, so I had a couple pedals. I actually had two pedals in the trunk of my car that weren't working properly, and for that night they decided to work properly. And we had just done the TC Electronic 3 for $99 Black Friday special, right? Because didn't I have the Goss?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Pete, there's one in every group. All right, 4 mini pedals. Hit me. I have, on one of my travel boards, I have the Moore Spark series that are like that big. They're tiny. So what 4 mini pedals, Pete? I'm waiting.
So Gary has the Maxon OD808,
Yep.
which would be like
Gary's
a
onto something as
tube
well.
screamer and a carbon copy.
Yep. In case you can't tell, it was an overdrive and a delay.
Right.
I mean, it's not rocket science, but that's what we chose. And we're like, if you're an acoustic player, maybe it was a tuner and a looper, like you're, whatever you're doing.
So you were going to go with the TS808
yeah.
or the full tone OCD.
Yeah.
And then that drive that you had, I picked, which has been like the foundation.
It was
of
unfair because he's in his basement with everything.
Right.
But
The foundation of every board is the Barber Electronics direct drive and the Boss OC2. DM2.
Yeah.
So I have original Boss DM2, which is like my favorite delay pedal of all time. And then I always, man, that Barber Electronic Direct Drive, it's one of the early edition ones. They're cheap.
Well, and you had a King of Tone that you threw that one up first. Yeah. So flip side, yes, a Tech 21 fly rig would count because it has more than two switches, but. All right.
Lost Guitar Hack said Lost Dutchman in the flashback delay. Lost Dutchman is Lawrence Petros pedal, which we're seeing and hearing everybody rave about. So that's something we definitely have to see sometime. Ben Combs, Carbon Copy, Lost Dutchman.
Which thanks to
that's 3, Ben.
Which
I know in Canada it's hard. I mean, like Canada too. What's that about?
Yeah, but I gave Pete like special dispensation for 4 pedals. So since Ben slipped in with 3, it's okay. All right.
So
see you, Joe. It's great to have you back, man. We missed you for a couple weeks there. We got to get some. I had coffee with a really fantastic metal player friend of mine, and it's coming. It's coming.
So, Guitar Hack, nothing wrong with PV, bro. Yeah, because we've been.
I'm playing PV Classic 30 tonight.
And so I started playing your PV Classic 30 head at church. Yeah. Made me buy the Classic 30 combo that you're playing right now. And then when I wanted to get rid of that Marshall Origin amp I had, I traded it for a PV Classic 30 head, just like the one at church. And so, yeah, man.
They're great. Bang for the buck. They're fantastic.
I know. I was a Fender guy through and through, but these are nice.
The Moore Solo.
Fly ring and a mini wah. See how he did that? Does the fly ring count?
Right, and then he threw one more.
Right.
So it's 2 pedals. So Pete, or actually Ben came back and said I'm allowed for exchange rate plus. If I'm playing lead, I need a boost. Mini tuner, Molsky Black Rat, Coco Booster, Kayleen. Yeah, Kayleen is one we kind of stumbled across. I bought one off of Facebook Marketplace.
Have you seen the Kayleen Chief, the new Chief pedal, which is they put out a King of Tone. Mm-hmm. Surprisingly though, it's like $70. Like every other pedal's like 30 or 40, and that one's like 70.
Yeah, Brody talked about Love pedal Tape Echo and the Dan Electro Daddio, which is their overdrive. 6505 head. Both Brody and I, he still has his, has 5150 head. PV Classic, of course I just said I had a 5150. I found the PV Classic 50s to be a bit too much beef for me, even though it has a master volume. I've been really happy with the 30s, but Brody even has the 20 and the 20 head.
Craigslist right now, somebody has PV Delta Blues, the 210
with the tremolo probably in it.
With the tremolo in it, and I'm a sucker, man. I want a Vibrolux. I want a 210 amp. I have a 410 amp that I used for years when we played live, but.
All right, I'm gonna just throw.
Found all the real blues guys in Mississippi play PV gear, yeah, and they play it on 10. Big Jack Johnson used to play it. Oh my gosh, Big Jack was so loud.
So I'll throw another question out since I'm the one that's throwing out random questions. We talked about the guitars. What kind? What's your number one? Like, are they specific? No. What's your number one? What's your pedals? Who is like your biggest guitar influence? We'll go with that. Like, who's your favorite guitar player? Doesn't mean I'm giving this caveat because it applies to me. Doesn't mean you can play like them, but they've influenced your playing. They've inspired you in some way. Ben Combs has an older PV Classic that was old enough that it didn't even say 50 on it.
That's a loaded question.
Well, I mean, again, I'm trying
because you start to think about it.
I'm trying to pigeonhole everybody into one answer, which we couldn't get one answer about pedals. So I know I'm going to get 2 or 3 people from each person.
Well, I'm sitting here like, oh, well, I don't. It depends. It depends. Like Warren Haynes, Derek Trucks over here,
Brian
right?
Randolph just put Warren Haynes.
Yeah, Warren Haynes, Derek Trucks. But then I'm also like, you know, Buddy Guy, the Three Kings, all the blues guys, Muddy. Go way back to, even guys like, oh man, that's hard.
Brody, we'll circle back to your topic after we get a few people. That's a pretty special little amp, that little Vox Pathfinder. Solid state. It's crazy. Yeah, so mine, I mean, it is a toss-up for me because one of my first early influences was Phil Kaye. Again, don't play like him. He inspired me. Had the pleasure of meeting him a couple times. Super nice guy. Since I said you could do more than one, then it kind of rolled into Eric Johnson. For the diversity of his playing and just the craziness that he does and writing. So, yeah. Dan of New Jersey. I got it now.
Hopkins amp was a Vibrolux, you know that.
There you go. SRV.
One of his first. So Mitch that passed away that we talked about in previous episodes had that 60s Vibrolux. So one of my biggest. So here's the thing, and going on with Pat's question about your biggest musical influences, it's kind of a lie because guys like Warren Haynes, Derek Trucks, Clapton, David Gilmour, and then all the blues guys, like I said, Albert Freddie, B.B. King, Buddy Guy, have all been like huge influences, but some of my biggest influences were local dudes. So Mitch Ivanoff from Krypton City Blues, Forrest Brown, who played with a band called Blitzsteinette when I was in high school and college. These are guys that I used to go out and like watch their band, like study their band. Like I'd watch them play 3 songs, and then I would watch the drummer for 2 or 3 songs, and I'd watch the bass player for 2 or 3 songs, and I'd watch the keyboard. It got to the point where like I knew all the cues. Like the secret cues, like the head winks and the like just the little looks. Like I knew what that meant. Like, oh, the keyboard player just messed up because so-and-so's eyebrow went up a quarter of a, and I would just study these bands and these players. And honestly, Forrest Brown played PRS. So our drum instructor in high school was the drummer for Blitzsteinette. And we'd go out to this place called the Deer Lodge, and they would reserve a table for us. We were under 21, we were in high school, right? But they'd get us a table up the front, we'd go and we'd watch them play. And so all through high school, all through college, probably junior, senior year of high school and through college, we'd be out there watching them play. And he had this red PRS band, and I just would sit back there and look at how the light, because come on, the way the light comes off a PRS is like no other guitar.
Ben, if you're talking about this one, no, it does not have ashtray. If you're talking about this one, maybe the way it looks on the live stream, but it does not.
What's he asking?
He was asking if this had the ashtray on it. If he was talking about this one.
Or is he talking about Telly?
I don't know. I think he said Strat. It's above where we are, wherever. I don't know, somewhere. Down there. We're at the very bottom. Dang, does that Strat have an ashtray on it? No.
I would kind of like to have a hardtail Strat, though.
Yes, true story. Because American
Don Barnes and Jeff
Carlisi from 38 Special.
And PJ. Malcolm Young. So there's so many great guitar players floating through there. Everybody that's honest has to say Chuck Berry. Nice, Brian. I missed that. I got into my little story time. And SRV for blues for short. Yeah, heck. The funny thing about the funny thing about SRV to me.
Yeah.
When I was playing in like the blues bands and stuff, it seems like everybody and their brother. I mean, there was guys that were like dressing like him and playing nothing but his tunes. And it got so old.
There was one guy local, like Riviera Paradise or something like that.
That's what I'm talking about.
He was good.
He was good.
But it was like an Elvis impersonator almost.
But he wasn't. It wasn't. It's like when you hear somebody sing Freddie Mercury good. Not that I'm a huge Queen fan, but you go, wow, they're really good. And then you hear Freddie Mercury, you go, oh, never mind. Yeah. Same with Stevie Ray. Like you hear it so much being covered so much that you're like, oh, I'm kind of sick of this. And then you go back and like, just the other day, like a video popped up on my feed of Stevie and I watched it. I was like, oh my gosh,
Right.
like that guy is so good.
Mm-hmm.
He is unreal. Brody Hutchins. Clapton.
BB King.
Yeah, how about a happy birthday to BB King?
You said it would have been 94? Is that what you said today would have been? 84, 94?
97? 90?
Yeah,
it's on Google.
Gary, it's funny. Like, I don't know how we got on that little rant last live stream. You know, have you had a chance that, like, people you met, that, like, did you like them? Did you not like them? It kind of morphed into the have you met some of your idols and were they a disappointment, right? And so there was a local guy that came through that was an incredible well, he came through, he wasn't a big name guy, but he came through regularly.
National guy.
That was Wiener Schnitzel. But, you know, just kind of talking about, have you had an opportunity to meet some of your heroes, and in your encounter, were you disappointed or encouraged? So,
well, there's so many. This is my rule. Like, there's so many great guitar players out there. Every time you find a great guitar player, there's one that's better.
right.
Unless it's Derek Trucks, probably. If you're gonna be a jerk, like, I don't have time. Like, why would I waste my time listening to somebody that's a jerk when there's 5 other guys out there that are? Mm-hmm. Brian, I know you're a Warren fan, and I'm like a huge Warren fan too, right? So I have every Government Mule show ever played on a CD somewhere up and through, like, from the very first show up through like 2007 or something. But that one, there was a Beacon show, a Beacon video where Warren and Derek were playing together, and Derek just a couple times Warren was like, Derek is.
Oh, there's something magical about the slide too. It's otherworldly when he plays that. Yeah, flip side said saw BB and Joe Bonamassa opened for him.
He was 12.
Yeah, Kip Winger, man. Reb Beach played for Winger, but Kip Winger, what, lead singer, right? But Reb Beach that played guitar in that band was crazy good.
But that's the thing. Like, Warren's the nicest guy.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen that and heard that. Like,
Guitar Hack. I've wondered that about Joe Bonamassa. Like, I think he's kind of a guy you're gonna love him or hate him. Like, some people already hate him because of the guitar collection. I don't hate the guy for the guitar collection or whatever. He's a fantastic player. He's got an unbelievable collection. Some people don't like him right out of the gate for that. But I don't know what it would be like to meet him. I mean, you know. But he said he was all right. That's probably fair, right?
oh wait, yeah. Guitar Hack, I saw that. I know you met him because I saw that. That was on your trip to Summer Nom, wasn't it? That you met him. Wasn't there a video of you and one of your friends sitting in the bar smoking a cigar, and Joe Bonamassa was sitting behind you or something like that?
Yeah, and he's Gary, and he's a great singer too.
So I think we will be wrapping up.
So what's that? So Brody kind of was asking about, like, the Vox Pathfinder 15. It's like a solid state amp. It's very small, and then there's the whole mini amp, small wattage amp craze. The first time I heard a Pathfinder, a friend of mine had a studio, and I walked in and he was doing a track, and he goes, "Do you want to?" I said, "That sounds great." He goes, "We'll open up the isolation booth and you'll see what it is." And it was the Vox Pathfinder mic'd up in the isolation booth, cranked up. And he had a regular AC30 in the room, but that was the one. So, you know, you can coax things out of some amps for sure that are not big budget busters. And
yeah, we kept running into him. I saw that. That was good stuff.
so, one more question I have.
I can't imagine. You have a
What'd you have for
question?
breakfast? Pancakes. How many of you are active gigging musicians of this? Like right now, like you may have been in the past, but like, are you gigging right now? Because honestly, if it weren't for the church gig, I probably wouldn't be. But I got a bunch of gear. Or do you just enjoy tinkering with gear and collecting stuff? And
there's days I'd really like to be an active gigging musician again, and then I think about like
dragging gear around,
right?
Getting in at 3 a.m.
9 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Man, that is the greatest. 9 o'clock at night to 1 o'clock in the morning. It's awesome. Like 6 to 9 when you're like getting everything packed up, making sure it works, lugging it over, unloading it, all that. 1 in the morning you're packing up. Driving back from Baltimore at like 3. Driving back from Baltimore, leaving Baltimore at 2 in the morning to have the singer driving the van stop at Wendy's and start special ordering something. I'd like a single with cheese. I want 2 pickles, no mustard, half an onion. I'm like, what are you doing? We were there for like 45 minutes getting this guy's burger. Yeah. Flip side gigs, guitar hack gigs. Ben stopped in April. Semi-active, but putting a band together.
True story, Gary.
And what if I had a roadie? Yes. Gary wins for best answer of the night. Definitely best answer of the night. What if I had a roadie? That's great. So, I have one and Loden still sucks. Yeah. It's driving late at night that I...
Right.
What do they... I mean, gigs in our area, I don't know what your area is like, but gigs in our area seem like they're moving up a little bit. Instead of going 9 to 1, a lot of them are going like
10 to...
8 to 12,
yeah.
7 to 11.
Right.
Which seems to make a little more sense.
Mm-hmm.
Dates.
So Ben comes, I don't know what the equivalent...
Brian.
Ben comes, I don't know what the equivalent of Waffle House is in Canada, but you said you're single and all your time is your own, but if you stumble into a Waffle House, your life might be over. Like, but whatever the Canadian equivalent of a Waffle House is.
I don't know, Ben, but if you could send some poutine down, I'd be forever.
He showed me a picture of poutine. I was at church and he showed me this picture and I'm like, ooh, I see. I get what it's about. I see you.
There's a little bakery in Athens, Ontario, Ben, that has these great rolls that I look forward to getting every year to make sandwiches on too. I don't know where that came from. All right. Poutine. Well, yeah, it's 10:22. I think it's time.
I just yawned. Isn't that riveting?
Yeah. Nice.
So do you want to play out a little bit? What do we do? What do you think Mrs. is doing? How loud? What are we doing?
Oh, I know. She's probably asleep. She hasn't commented in a while. So we shouldn't get too loud, probably.
What's too loud?
I don't know. What do you want to play on?
We definitely knew that what we did earlier was too loud, and she confirmed that.
Man. It sounded good, though.
It did. Because, again, as we discussed very early in this chat, louder is better. Flip side.
Oh, wait a second. I can't remember.
read my mind.
It's a little nerve-wracking, man. I'm not used to having to play in front of other guitar players.
That's right. And quietly.
Yeah.
Like a double wave. It was like kryptonite. Yeah, man, we can't thank you all enough for checking in. And thanks to my partner here for being a good... I mentioned before that he is a good community member of YouTube and joins other people's parties. And through friendships he has forged, many of you have found your way here tonight. And it's been great to hang with you. And follow us on social media, on Facebook and on Instagram, because we announce when we do the live streams. We try to be somewhat consistent, but it's difficult. We either film Monday or Wednesday nights. We're leaning back towards Mondays a little bit, but you'll have at least 24 hours notice. 12 hours notice, maybe.
Yeah.
So
if you're hanging out with us and haven't subscribed, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as we say we don't look at it, we do look at it a little bit, and it opens more opportunities, I think. That's the thing, right?
Yeah, not to keep bringing church up, but I keep bringing church up. Like, when you're at a church, you're like, well, how do we know things are going well? How do you know it's healthy? Well, you have a certain level of growth, right? So to get new subscribers and get people joining in the conversation kind of makes it feel like, all right, we're doing this because we're having fun. But this is helping us accomplish literally one of the first things that we wanted to do. You wanted to create a community of people that can talk about gear, other than just you and I. You know, right. It's a good start. Or, you know, Brody and I text back and forth or whatever, but... I mean, this is great. People from, you know, other countries and people from other regions, people, other musical genres, different influences. Because we've tried to say it before on our channel, for those of you who are new, there's not a right or a wrong way. There's opinions that we have, and I've said it last live stream, we can talk about what we like without having to say we don't like what somebody else does. And so, what you got? Tone
Bolt subscribed. We appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sean, I think, is new, right? I haven't seen that name.
Right.
So... nice to see you, Sean Zinnerman. Like I said, I saw Gary. I think Gary subscribed yesterday, and that was awesome. So, I think with that, you know, boys and girls, as excited as we are to hang with you, as much as we appreciate you coming, if I don't pull the plug, and Brody can attest to this, if I don't pull the plug on PJ, we'll be here all night.
Yeah. He told a great story in the last live stream. Go look it up. that was the pancakes joke. Ask me what I had for breakfast. And 20 minutes later, I'll be like, "What was the question?" And he'll be like, "What'd you have for breakfast?" And I go, "Pancakes."
I really want to. With the nursing duties that I've been on this week, I need to get to sleep and get some rest. So, awesome. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And it doesn't just shut off right away because I got to get...
He's got to get up and
walk over and hit the end stream.
But while I was walking away, PJ... Well, first of all, thanks again for coming. PJ, on behalf of the Beard, reminding you, no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear.
Ben and Brian, if you're still out there, too, thank you guys for all your support, man.
Yep.
It means a lot.
Good stuff.